Some thoughts today while I'm at one of my favorite places to put things in perspective, and frankly, one of my favorite places to start any day. You know, there are plenty of things we can't control in life, but we can prepare ourselves for tough moments in life, and we can always control how we react to what life throws at us. And in the darker moments, we can choose instead to focus on the light, on the good stuff in life. For me, another medical curveball and some time in an OR ahead. But today, I'm choosing gratitude. When the surgeon removed my large intestine a few years ago, just before it fell apart inside me, my doctors were pretty direct about the likelihood of future complications as a result of the Crohn's disease that had turned my body against itself and led to those surgeries. Through more than 24 surgeries over the past 5 years, second only to my wife, my GI doc has been my greatest ally and supporter. More than once, when I tell him about my latest athletic goals or training plan, he'd laugh a bit, say, "I think you might be a little crazy, but if you're going to do it, here's what we need to do." Our quarterly appointments have turned more into friends catching up with a few minutes of medical check-ins and advice at the end. So last month, when he said everything looks great, but things can always change quickly, so let's just do an MRI to be safe, I didn't hesitate to schedule it. And I'm grateful he had that proactive approach. The good news, the disease is still in remission, but scar tissue from surgery is building up quickly. If left untreated, in the next few months, it will either close off my intestine, needing surgery to resolve that, or the intestine will rupture, leading quickly to sepsis and even more critical emergency surgery. The good news, first option is a minimally invasive procedure, inserting a flex scope with a balloon that can be inflated to open things back up. The less than ideal news, that option is 50-50. 50% chance it works without issue and then needs to be repeated every 6 to 12 months, and 50% chance the balloon inflation causes a rupture. If the intestine ruptures, equal chances it's minor and can be fixed with laparoscopic surgery, or that it's more serious. They have to open me up, cut out the section with the scar tissue, and depending on the severity, give me a temporary ostomy, my intestines sticking out the side of my stomach into a bag while things heal. Doc consulted with my original surgeon, who is one of the best in the country at these procedures. And he said at some point it's likely I'll need the more invasive surgery, so he'd like to avoid that as long as possible. Even with the 50-50 odds that it works, they agreed the less invasive option with the balloon is preferred. So, week after next, my surgeon will be on standby as Doc puts me under and we try option one. They've scheduled the procedure at a facility with a full OR that's adjacent to the hospital where I had my previous surgery. The anesthesiologist will put me under, and I'll either wake up an hour or two later, ready to go home to a soft food diet for a few days, or I'll wake up 3 to 4 hours later in a hospital bed with a few more scars, or I wake up 6 to 10 hours later with an ostomy in a surgical recovery room for a few days. I can't control the scar tissue building up or what this disease does. I can't control how surgery will go. I can make sure my body is as ready as possible to recover by sticking to my nutrition and my training program. And today, tomorrow, and the next day, I can choose gratitude. Gratitude for the doctor who caught this before it became an emergency. Gratitude for access to the treatment I need. Gratitude for the woman by my side who is my rock and my light. Gratitude every day for the gift of another day. I can't control this, but I can control how I live.